One thing's weird in a comeback, proving doubters wrong. When big namers hit a certain age and start having a couple bad games here and there, many will quickly jump to reckless conclusions. A few former All-Stars who's disappointed all throughout last season must resurrect themselves and prove many wrong about their declining abilities. When a vet's been around a long time, there will always be a year where everybody sees heavy decline. This video is all about those players who everyone thought was on the verge of retirement or overseas, but instead turned back the clock, caught a second win, and some even a third win of greatness after over a decade playing in the association, leaving some of the greatest longevity legacies the game will ever see, from so-called washed up, underperforming in the playoffs to, oh my god, he's still one of the best players? How'd that happen? Starting with Chris Paul of the Houston Rockets 2019, the greatest example in recent times after an untimely hammy injury, being a win away from the NBA Finals. Many didn't expect the 33-year-old to come back the following year strong, signed a 4-year $160 million extension, missed 17 straight games with a hamstring injury. James Harden became a one-man regular season show, making us all forget about CP when returning. The Beard didn't give up any of his game or play style, continued being ball dominant. Paul found himself standing in the corner, averaged the fewest points of his career, shot under 42%, underperformed the Golden State semis, a dreadful 3 of 14 Game 5 shooting, 11-point night, failed to capitalize with Durant hurt. Omen Tillman Fertitta believed CP had the worst contract in all of sports. Him and Harden then didn't see eye to eye, traded to OKC. Some thought they'd be in the lottery. ESPN gave them a 0.2% chance at the playoffs, but the then 34-year-old went vegan. Not only exceeded expectations, elevated OKC, mentored young SGA, fitting in perfectly with Dennis Schroeder, named an All-Star, played in the competitive game down the stretch in crunch time, finished with a higher winning percentage than any of the 3 seasons Russ Westbrook had post KD, nearly upset Houston round 1, lost game 7, having Scott Foster screw things up. Paul then traded to Phoenix, a franchise that didn't make the playoffs in over a decade, became a real MVP candidate, finished 5th place, snatched the 2nd seed, changed the entire culture of the team, unstoppable getting to his sweet spots, a mid-range mastery, controlled the flow of the game better than anybody. Another 2nd team All-NBA appearance, went to the finals first time in his career, added many more playoff moments, especially the Nuggets and Clippers series. 2022 ended up in 2nd round disappointment, but CP led the same Suns to a league best 64 wins, made 3 All-Stars, beating the wash allegations, from having a 3-year gap not making it between 2017 to 19, finally slowed down a bit after 2022, but still a good starting caliber floor general, missed over 23 games each of the last 2 years. Many CP3 haters gained more respect for him after seeing 3 more elite seasons after 2019. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1985 Finals. The then 38-year-old, already the all-time leading scorer, won 3 titles, and arguably the most accomplished basketball player at the time. Everybody from his draft class already been retired for at least 3 years, still put up 22 a game, averaged around 20 and 8 first 3 rounds before the finals, struggled game 1, scored just 12 points, grabbed 3 rebounds, 6 of 11 shooting, resulted in a 34-point blowout defeat, being on a franchise that ended up in many finals disappointments to their superior rival, a 144-108 beatdown known as the Memorial Day Massacre. Despite what Showtime accomplished, many convinced the Lakers were cursed and would never beat Boston in a series. Kareem being ran off the floor by the younger Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, the oldest player in the NBA, took responsibility for the loss, brought in his father to the team bus, watched hours of film sessions, ran heavy sprints at practice, responded with a masterful 30-point, 17-rebound, 8-assist game 2 win. In the 4 victories, the so-called washed man averaged 30.2 points, over 11 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 2 blocks, beat Boston in 6, clinched the title on the road, breaking the curse, earned his sweetest championship, lifted heavy pressure off the franchise, posting higher statistical numbers than Prime Bird that series. Jabbar continued on, becoming an All-Star next 4 seasons, even made first team in 1986, won 2 more titles, finally retired at the end of the decade. Tim Duncan, who took a step back offensively in 2006, handing the reins to Tony and Manu. His defense always elite. At 34 years old, averaged a career low 13.4 points, under 10 rebounds, first time in his career, failed to make All-NBA. Despite winning 61 games, many thought this was San Antonio's last hope. When the playoffs rolled around, his squad faced the start of the grit and grind Grizzlies, not a typical 8 seed, with prime Zach Randolph torching the older Timmy in the post. Zebo averaged 21.5 points for the series. Duncan struggled, under 13 and 11. Felt way too slow and heavy, played through a sprained ankle, suffered late March. The following years, Coach Pop learned a lesson, used load management to his perfection. Timmy shredded 20 pounds the 2012 season, took his diet super seriously, from 260 at his heaviest to around 235 in 2013. The big fundamental caught a second resurgence. 2013 season, easily still a top 10 player, made first team All-NBA, averaged 18 and 10, would have won another Finals MVP had Pop put him in the game for rebounding. Late Game 6, leading to Miami getting multiple second chances, capped off by the Ray Allen 3. The then 37-year-old was even getting the best of 28-year-old LeBron many times those finals. Even after the Game 7 loss, Duncan and San Antonio reclaimed their crown as best team, winning the 2014 title, put up 15 and 10. Still amazing as a 39-year-old in 2015 destroyed prime Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, first round series loss. Outside of his final 2016 season, 2011 easily his second worst year, making 2 more All-NBA teams after labeled as wash. The greatest power forward all time, proved his fundamentals and polishedness, remained undefeated. Grant Hill, ruined by injuries during his disastrous tenure with the Magic, many thought he'd be retired after the countless surgeries. Between ages 28 to 30, the former superstar averaged just 15 points, 47 total games in 4 possible seasons, missed the entire 04 campaign, nearly didn't make it from a staph infection, was already 32 in 2005. Little did many expect, G-Money bounced back nicely, became an all-star again, averaged almost 20 points, despite losing the explosiveness, reinvented the second half of his career better than anybody his time, became a consistent mid-range sniper. From 2009 to 2011, the 36 to 38-year-old only missed 3 possible games that stretch. Kudos to the Phoenix Suns medical staff. Hill became a stellar starting small forward, excellent defender given his declining speed. His only time getting past the first round 2010 Phoenix, had the heavy task guarding Kobe, played till age 40 when many assumed he'd be out the league by 30. Jamal Mashburn, the 4th pick of the 93 draft, only made 1 All-Star team, his second to last season in the league, a 19-point scoring rookie off the bat, averaged well over 24 and 23 a game, second and third year, but played just 18 games in year 3, having microfracture surgery on his knee. Considered a career killer back in the day. Then traded to Miami, his knees never got better, took a step back for a loaded team with Tim Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning, averaged just under 15 points on 43% shooting, being a role player. A down 4-5 years, Mash all of a sudden became a 20-plus point scorer his last 4 seasons. With the Hornets, made his only All-Star appearance age 30, but after more knee problems, played 19 games the following year, then traded to Philly, waived, never played after age 31. The fact that Mash was still able to play at a high level when he looked like a shell of himself in Miami goes to show the 6'8 sniper had the potential to easily be a top 75 player. Boris Diaw first made a name for himself with the 06 Suns, part of that Joe Johnson package, inserted to the lineup after Amari missed all but 3 games. From unknown on the bench for a terrible Hawks team to most improved player, averaged over 13, 6 and 6, one of the reasons for Phoenix winning 54 games. Without stat, Boris a master hunting for mismatches, punishing smaller defenders, excellent footwork, good hand-eye coordination, excellent awareness, gave teams nightmares, averaged 19, 7 and 5 the conference finals run, but after Amari came back, Diaw fell off, secured a bag, got fat. Notoriously known for coming to training camp out of shape, was a nobody in Charlotte, looked unmotivated, and playing to just collect checks, even waived by the worst team all time, the 7-win season. then picked up by San Antonio as a free agent, rejuvenated his image under Pop, played some of his best basketball the 2014 finals. After starting Game 3, San Antonio proceeded to play one of the most beautiful team ball ever seen, 3 straight blowouts. Boris became the assist leader those finals. His name even came up in finals MVP discussions. Forever remembered as a generational role player, remained solid until his final season with 2017 Utah. Had Diaw ended up on another bad team like the Pistons or Kings after Charlotte, he probably retired, only remembered for his Phoenix days. The 6'8" French magician, one of the most unique players the league will ever see. Shaun Livingston, the 3-time NBA champ, forever a warrior for life, from Magic Johnson 2.0 to suffering the worst injury ever imaginable to probably never playing again, almost needed to get his legs amputated, ended up a journeyman to being a key player on a dynasty, the craziest roller coaster to a career. Could have easily became one of the biggest sports tragedies. The 4th pick of the 2004 draft became a victim of the Clippers curse, tore everything on his left knee, played combined 48 games following 3 seasons, failed stints in Miami and OKC, shown promise in Washington, then landed a guaranteed deal in Charlotte, played for the Nets, looked much better than Deron Williams at times. Golden State then saw the opportunity to snatch the 29-year-old point guard, forever known as the mid-range master for the second unit. Being tall at 6'7", good on D, and facilitating, super control style of play. After the Splash Brothers destroyed many teams with their shooting, non-Warrior fans immediately had nightmares on Shaun Livingston's mid-range jumpers. Golden State had one of the best bench those years. 2020 Lakers, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, and Rajon Rondo, all considered a joke a few years before, especially Dwight, from all-time great talent and superstar of Orlando to a distraction, especially after that glute injury on the Wizards. Some thought the then 33-year-old career was finished, but was everything he turned out to be in LA, became a good rim runner, defender, and monster rebounder, the difference maker containing Jokic, extended his career a few more years after. Many thought he'd be out the league before 2020. McGee, on the other hand, being on the Wizards, laughed at, first ballot checking the full Hall of Famer, known for his dumb plays and bloopers, considered the guy many love to make fun of for giggles. Being just a lap dread and a tall body for Golden State, the 31-year-old averaged the career best 12 points for the 2019 Lakers, excelled as the starting center, continues to start for the 2020 title squad, continued to play great 2 years later with Phoenix as a 34-year-old. His biggest adjustment, focus on his strengths, not trying to do too much, while Rondo looked like his career was going to finish poorly, clashing with Rick Carlisle, but continued reminding the world who playoff Rondo was. Made a huge impact with the Bulls, Pelicans, and Lakers, huge part of the 2020 title team. Serge Ibaka, having 2 totally different careers, the only thing that still raises question today, the uncertainty of his age, even raised by former teammate Kendrick Perkins. From Defensive Player of the Year candidate to being on the decline, made no impact with the Magic, traded for Terrence Ross, the starting power forward, then became a vital part of Kawhi's 2019 title team, became more known as a lethal stretch 5, had his best scoring season 2020 before regressing with the Clippers. Nicholas Batum, a beast in Portland, to being called the worst contract and washed up playing for the Hornets, felt like he was older playing for Charlotte once upon a time than his tenure with the Clippers. From irrelevant to instantly becoming a valuable rotational player back in 2019, nobody would have believed he'd still be in the league in 2025. Literally averaged a disgusting 3.6 points the 2020 season. From looking checked out on a dysfunctional franchise, there's something about the French Charlotte Wash connections, from Boris Diaw to Nick Batum, Tony Parker's retirement home, Rudy Gobert next I assume. If NBA players want to save their legs before they become old, Charlotte's a place to not give a damn. To a lesser extent, Manu Ginobili 2013, who was an absolute travesty in those finals, looked rusty, old, and slow. The then 35-year-old blew Game 6, missed a key free throw, 9 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 8 turnovers, -21. If he was just a bit better, Tim Duncan would have gotten another Finals MVP. Committed a crucial turnover late Game 7. Many thought that was San Antonio's last crack at the title before Manu yammed it in the face of Chris Bosh. 2014 Finals, had a much better season, played till 2018. Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks, from vet minimum to over $100 million career earnings afterwards. No player reinvented their game and adapted better than the 7-footer himself. From 20-point scorer, consider overrated MT stats bad team guy, averaged 13-4 of the Lakers, viewed as slow, gained a bad rap being an awful rebounder for his size, but Coach Butch changed Brook for the best, becoming a 3-and-D big, viewed as a liability on D, to making 2 defensive teams in his 30s. The best part about his game, still being dominant on the post when needed. Giannis went down, Atlanta Conference Finals, Game 5, vintage Lopez reminded the world his skills from his Nets days. Some thought he'd be out the league at age 30 just like Roy Hibbert, but being able to improve in many areas of his game, kudos to the North Hollywood native. Bob McAdoo, the former superstar and MVP winner, won 3 straight scoring titles, years 2 to 4, already one of the best players. Having perimeter skills for a 6'9 center, ahead of his time with the outside shot, traded to New York in 1977 due to Buffalo not being able to afford him, not a good fit with Red Holzman, played with Boston and Detroit for half a season, then sent to New Jersey, looked completely washed by 1981 before turning 29, averaged 10.3 points in 16 games, traded to the Lakers only due to Mitch Kupchak getting injured. McAdoo injury prone himself, recovering from foot surgery, stood on crutches, thought his career was over, but proceeded to become one of the best 6 men in the league. In 83, averaged 15-5, won 2 titles as a key piece to Showtime, was even better in the postseason, could have easily won Finals MVP in 82, last played for the Sixers in 86 before 7 more professional seasons overseas. Tyson Chandler, before making his impact with 2011 Dallas, spent a year in Charlotte, a 6-6 guy on a weaker squad, to all of a sudden the perfect big to pair up with Nowitzki. The bad franchise stupidly gave up on the future Defensive Player of the Year basically for free. Dallas finally got rid of Eric Dampier. Tyson became the missing piece. The Mavs certainly wouldn't have won the title without him, brought in rim protection, created many second chance points. The Mavs didn't win a playoff series for over a decade after letting him go, becoming an all-star with the Knicks. The then 27-year-old with the Bobcats, viewed somewhat of a bust as a number 2 pick, but became a solid starter, ended up having a 19-year career. Bernard King, one of the most forgotten great players in the 80s, a career riddled by injuries, a 24-point scorer for the Nets as a rookie, then all of a sudden averaged less than 10 points a game in year 3, spent time in rehab with alcohol addiction, combined with countless of injuries, played 2 seasons in Golden State, then balled out with the Knicks, most remembered for the 84 season, finished 2nd for MVP, took Spurs Celtics to 7. After knocking off Isaiah Thomas Pistons, averaged 42 that series. King led the league in scoring the following year. The 28-year-old at his peak sadly tore his ACL, an injury so brutal, missed the entire 1986 season, then played just 6 games the following year, averaged just 17 points, age 31, 3 seasons removed from his apex. Some thought he was finished after 88. But shockingly got better, tremendously bounced back, increased his scoring averages from ages 32 to 34, put up 28 a game the 91 season, his second highest scoring year. After being 6 years removed from his previous All-Star appearance, sadly, King had more knee problems, missing the entire 92 season, finished off in 93 completely washed. Johnny Green, way back in the 60s and 70s, made 3 of his 4 All-Stars during his first 6 seasons, having a late career start, was 26 years old as a rookie, seemed like he was going to be out the league in 69, a career low 4.7 points average in 10 minutes, but found a second win, posting a double-double first time in 6 seasons, increased his points average by over triple, even made the All-Star team at age 37, one of the craziest late career surges we'll ever know. Jumping Johnny passed away last year, he was 89. Carmelo Anthony, who some believe was so washed he didn't belong on an NBA team, struggled to fit in with OKC. His bad rap as a ball stopper came to effect, released after 10 games with Houston. Blamed for the early struggles, not being in the association for a full year, still much better than playoff Tobias $180 million Harris. His image tarnished to the point everybody did stay away until Portland gave him a chance, extending his career till 2022. Still had plenty left in the tank, handled the latter part of his career super well. Even got a spot at the top 75, avoiding major disaster. Honorable mentions includes Vince Carter, who developed a bad rap, falling short of the finals with Orlando, then looked washed 2012 with Dallas until finally accepting his bench role, having his most incredible playoff moment age 35 with one of the coldest game winners there will ever be, played till age 43, super unprecedented. Gerald Green, from being cut overseas, hit rock bottom, viewed as just an athlete, proceeded to have a career year 2014, more than double his scoring average from the year before. Dennis Rodman wasn't washed, but a massive head case in San Antonio, traded for Will Perdue, held the Bulls capped off another three-peat. Alonzo Mourning looked like he was totally finished after retiring in 03 from kidney disease, but had a life-saving transplant, came back, becoming a massive part of the 06 title team, and Steve Nash looked to be on the decline after Dallas let him walk in free agency, only to become a two-time MVP, played his very best in Phoenix. Otto Porter was washed for a few years until Golden State 22 title run happened. Dante Exum looked like a massive bust but did well for last season's Mavs. Next time anybody calls a player washed, be careful who you talk about. NBA stars with impeccable work ethic, be careful who you count out.